Hey guys, Mike from Mike's Gaming Gala here. Yesterday I showed you my pickups. Today is the main event. I'm going to show you the actual event itself, Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I got to talk to a few people. I missed talking to a few that I wanted to talk to, but overall the weekend was awesome and I wanted to share that experience with you. So without further ado, let's take a look. Alright, so on the Thursday we arrived, and here's the Intellivision booth, and there's Papa Pete helping set up some carts. But I thought I'd do kind of a walk around before everybody had filled in. On the Thursday there wasn't a ton of people setting up. Most, I guess, arrived on the Friday because this section of the hall where all the vendors are, it was only open Saturday and Sunday. So the Thursday, some people were setting up. Some booths were already set up. Obviously they had arrived earlier, such as the Atari Age guys, which they had arrived, I think, on Wednesday, and they had tons and tons of monitors, and they were all set up. As we kind of walk around here, you can see some more vendors. This gives you a good idea of the amount of space that this takes up. Later when I do my walkthrough and there's lots of people, the crowd just makes it more difficult to see what is, like the size of the space here, which was absolutely incredible. Up there on the right, you can see the immortal John Hancock. He had just arrived. I had a good conversation with him later on the Friday, I believe, and as we walk over to this end here, there was this great big kind of hallway down the middle, well, not the middle, but kind of over the side, and I guess this was so that there was good traffic flow. And then coming around here, this is where you had all the single booths. People who, I guess, just ordered one table. But moving along, we have this kind of 80s living room set up. So they had an Atari 2600 on one side and an NES on the other. And then this booth here, this is a Super Nintendo Max rifle. That was for the military. It was commissioned, and that it was so cool to see that. I've never seen one in person. They were asking 10 grand for it. Even if I could afford it, there's absolutely no way they would have let me take that on a plane. But I made sure to get a shot of it because that was really cool. Over here on the end of the exhibitor hall is this giant play area where you could go to a table and request specific games for a very wide variety of systems. Here's a whole bunch of GameCubes. And then you just find a TV with a system and sit down and play whatever you wanted to play. This was such a great area. I spent a lot of time here on Saturday, which I'll talk about later when I show you the footage of the area all set up. And then down at the end here, they had these 3 stages, and I'll admit during the show I didn't really come down to this corner much. I don't know what was shown at these stages. It might have been later. They might have held their auction here. I'm not sure. But once the show started, this is the Intellivision booth where I spent a good amount of time. Intellivision Revolution had 12 new releases, including, if you watched my pickup video, oh, there's Crispy and Chris and Harvey on the left there, including their mystery game, which you probably spotted on the table there. And here's the Amigo Cornhole. I thought it was so funny. And here you see Casey, the Intellivision gamer, actually playing some cornhole. And speaking of Casey, I suppose now would be a good time to talk to him.
So here's Casey, or better known as the Intellivision Gamer. He's got a channel here on YouTube, and it's full of Intellivision content. He's really popular as your horse racing. Everybody in your live stream Horse Racing Live, everybody in his stream bets on horses and they all compete. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel?
I pretty much just work with Intellivision stuff. I do a little bit of other items, but I just started the Intellivision show, and that's been extremely popular. It's kind of like a variety show. I talk about homebrew news. We have a live game challenge. I do interviews with key people that bring products, games, and even fans for Intellivision. So I really am enjoying that, and it's not leaving me much time for other videos, but I enjoy doing those. So.
Well, it's always a bit of a challenge to balance. It's like, oh, I really want to do this, but that's going to take more time. So we'll do this, yes. But I know I enjoy watching his channels. I usually don't have much time for the live streams, but I catch them later, and I really like his channel, and you should check it out for sure. Now, like me, this is your second year at Portland.
Yes.
What do you think? Is it better or worse? Like, what makes you come back here second time?
The big group of Intellivision guys, and being part of the booth and getting all the homebrews at the show, walking around, talking with like-minded individuals and purchasing other things other than Intellivision. It's like seeing all the people. It's just, I'm hooked. I'm going to be here every year.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's, especially being from Canada, we come, like I go to game swaps in Canada and they don't have anywhere near the kind of pre-NES especially variety that you see at Portland. And you're going to see Casey every year, and you're going to see me every year. And it's great to finally meet you, and I appreciate you talking to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
And then moving on through more of the Intellivision booth here, we had some televisions set up with games, and hey, there's a secret game again. We're not going to talk too much about that. But there's some Papa Pete stickers. I put out some of my business cards as well. And then we had Astro Smash, and this is a Steam version of Astro Smash. I did play it. Obviously, it's only single player, and admittedly, I am not the biggest Astro Smash fan in the world with the original. They had power-ups. It looked good. It played, honestly, kind of like a mobile game. It was fun. I imagine it would be a lot more fun with multiple players. Up to 4 players would be really cool. But I think the longevity of this one is a bit questionable for me, personally. I played quite a bit of this. I played until I died. And honestly, I was kind of getting bored at the end. The second boss is where I died, so I completed a bunch of levels. And then, of course, moving from here, we had Electronite and Homebrew Inc. And there were a few new releases from Homebrew Inc. You doing well so far?
Very good.
Very good. There's the Pumpkin Trilogy. That's going for broader release very shortly. And then coming over here, here's a game that I'm actually getting a producer credit on, Napoleonic Wars. So this is a game by Brian Pudden. It's in development. It should be done by the end of the year, is I believe the hope. But it is a Stratego style game, and here is Justin Cheer playing, and Justin Cheer is actually making the graphics for it, so that was kind of cool to meet him. And every time you encounter an enemy piece, you get that kind of screen that shows the two characters fighting. Napoleonic Wars, and I know behind the table are some Thunder Soldier boxes. That's coming too. And here we have another game coming soon from Homebrew Inc., which is Thunder Soldier. But before we leave the Intellivision table, let's talk to Papa Pete.
All right, so right now I'm with somebody who should need no introduction to most of my my subscribers, but Papa Pete from the Papa Pete channel. I think advertises a Papa Pete experience here at the N-Television booth.
That's it for sure, right?
But for just in case there's one or two people who don't know who you are, why don't you tell us a bit about your channel?
Papa Pete, the old guy gamer. I've been around for about 5 years now. I get into it. I always have loved retro games. When I was a kid, I had Atari 2600. That's what was my absolute first system. But then I'm getting taunted over here by, who's that guy? You got to do an interview with him next. That would be Rev from Intellivision Revolution. But I had Atari 2600 myself first, but I had older sisters and brothers-in-law who were into video games. One of my brother-in-laws was big into the Intellivision, and I spent a lot of time with them. That's where I developed my love for the Intellivision. And as for the channel goes, I always loved video games. I never really actively searched out and collected them, although I really would have liked to, but the area of the country that I live in, it really wasn't as feasible as it would be in a more populated area. That being said, eBay came into effect. Different things made the world a smaller place. I had a kid in '99 who by 2012, 13 was getting into video games and getting into video making and editing, and got involved with different groups like Streamwave and such because he was pretty talented, and he got me into it, making videos with him. He got older enough, graduated, went off to school, and I said, but I've been enjoying making the videos with you. And he said, and it's on my channel, there's a video where we do it. He told me, he says, there's nothing to keep you from making your own, and the rest is history.
There you go. And I definitely feel you on the, I mean, you're in a more remote part of the country than I am, but we're both from Canada, and just the variety of stuff that you can get in the U.S. is completely off the scale compared to anywhere in Canada. I'm just outside the most populated area of Canada in Toronto, and still, I don't see a quarter of what you get to see here. So, this is your first time at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. What do you think? Are you going to come back?
I certainly hope to come back. I love it. It's absolutely amazing. One of the things I've noticed now, it's not my first time at an actual con, just this particular con, but the con that I went to before, Connor and I went down 3 years in a row in the late pre-COVID, down to Too Many Games in Philadelphia, which was Screenwave Media's big con, one of the next biggest in the country compared to this one. And it was very, very similar. I got the feel of the way the people in the place, but it was a little bit more older, or I should say not older games, more recent games. There was less of the real historical stuff, pre-crash stuff, which I love so much, and you're the same way.
I'm the exact same way.
And, you know, I'm seeing more of that here, not to mention this group that we're here with today, the Intellivision Revolution group and the Atari Age Intellivision Forums group. Fantastic bunch of guys, and it's more about camaraderie than anything else, although I do seem to be finding lots of games to spend money on.
As am I.
I'd like to stop, but unfortunately I can't go to the bathroom without seeing 6 things that I want to buy, so it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, and I'd like to say I've been good, but I haven't been good. I'm sorry, honey.
Well, you know, that's another thing. I thank my kid, 64-bit for life is what he was back in the day. He's outgrown that now, I think, but he got me into this because of his motivation to do it, and it was a fun thing to do together. And then later on, when he motivated me to do it, not only did he get my channel going, but now this summer, because it's expensive for me. I mean, it's a 3,000-mile trip. Flights across Canada are more expensive than flights across the States. He said, let's take some of this collection, some of the stuff that we're not using anymore, like it's, because we conglomerated our 2 collections together. It's all going to be his someday to do whatever with he wants to do. So he said, let's get some of the stuff. So we might have had like 8 SNES systems there, put them together. We went to a big flea market and raised the money for the trip, and that's why we're here now. So I don't feel totally guilty about spending money, because I made the money from the collection in order to be able to come here to build upon the collection with more pertinent things that I really want to have. So this is absolutely an amazing, amazing place to be able to do that.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the fact that you've been able to kind of focus on, you know, maybe 1 or 2 systems that you really collect for. I haven't achieved that yet. If anybody's seen my game room tour video, there's way too much of everything. Eventually, hopefully, I'll get there. But
and that's what buying is like too. At one time it was whatever you could get, you grab, whether it was on Facebook Marketplace or it was a yard sale or it was online. I would buy a little bit of everything. But at the end of the day, you got to sort of pick and choose because the whole hobby has expanded to such a level that it's just almost impossible to get everything.
It pretty much is, unless you've won the Powerball or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. And nobody here's done that I've seen, so you know.
Certainly not me.
Right on.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me. It was awesome to meet you in person, and we'll definitely talk again.
Right
yes, thanks.
Okay, now let's take a walk around a little now that the show's opened up. This is on the Sunday, I believe. It might have been the Saturday, I'm not quite sure. But either way, the crowds, obviously there's a lot of bumping around, but tons and tons of people here trying to find whatever they're looking for. And this show does not disappoint. It has everything you could possibly look for, just about. Right on the left there is the limited run booth. Moving down here, whole pile of different vendors. This guy had a lot of computer games, which was cool to see. I don't collect computer games. I have a few, but generally I try to just stick to the console stuff. You got to put some kind of limit on what you collect. On the left there is an indie game publisher. There's a bunch of shirts there, all video game themed. I believe this was a programming booth. There on the left is Sean Kelly. He does a lot of Vectrex stuff that we just passed. Moving down here. Okay, so up here on the left, if you watch my pickup video, this is the table where Casey and I were both looking at that Jaguar rotary controller. He had tons of Jaguar stuff. Jaguar is not cheap to collect for whatsoever, and actually it's jumped up a lot in the last little bit. But this was one of my favorite booths. Just tons and tons and tons of vintage Atari stuff. We had, this is also where I bought my Famicom. This suitcase here was really cool, an Atari suitcase. I know John Hancock was looking at that earlier. And just all the Atari computers. Unfortunately, the 7800 control pads were not for sale. I've been wanting one of those for ages. I think I asked him last year. This is where I bought my Famicom and my disk system, and they only had one keyboard component. I bought that before walking around. He had a bunch of Super Famicoms. They're all pretty reasonably priced too. The Jaguar stuff was pricey, but the rest of it was pretty reasonable, I thought. And then we kind of look down here. This caught my eye because that's the edition of the NES that I got in 1989 when I first picked up my NES. And then, yeah, just it was hopping all weekend. You can see all the people and the booths. And then here is the Argon booth. Now, this is really cool. So this is emulation software, but kind of in the cloud, but you can also use it offline, and it's transferable. You can use it on your tablet, you can use it on your phone, you can use it on your computer, provided you're Windows 11, and you can even use it on like your Google Chromecast. It works on there, and your Amazon Fire Sticks. So it was really cool to see, and we actually got to talk with Brian. So let's talk to Brian about Argon.
Okay, I'm here with Brian Hall of Argon, and he actually sent me a message saying, come check us out. We've got a neat piece of software you're going to want to see, and he helped me out earlier to install it, and he's going to set me up later with a subscription, and I'll make a video about that. But I thought maybe here we would talk about what is Argon.
So Argon, as a project, the goal was to bring like all the goodness, all the games of the systems of the 70s through the 90s, both home computers and consoles, to like everywhere you might want to play them. So we started out on Android as a mobile app, and then we added Chromebook, and then more recently we've come to Amazon with the kids' tablets, the Fire Stick, the Fire TV, and then January of this year we added Windows 11.
Okay.
So.
And so what specifically, so when you set me up, I noticed there's a whole bunch of games on there, but with the subscription service, you can also kind of put your own ROMs?
Right. So for free, we've got about 350 games spanning all those systems, so like Atari through Nintendo. A lot of indie games. So of course, like you're here at Portland Retro and the Atari. So there's a lot of stuff that you would see like at the Atari Age booth that you'll see in Argonne. And if you're a fan of like NES games, there's a whole community that does new made NES games.
Yeah.
So there's lots of like indie goodness in there. And then if you subscribe, we do premium games, so ones that we've commercially licensed. And generally we've been featuring like a new game every week.
Okay.
And they stay in there permanently, at least for now. Usually that's up to licensing agreements and whatnot. But so far everything is in there permanently once it's in there. And as a premium subscriber, you get to bring your own ROM collection, so stuff that you bought on itch or that you have from other places that you can get ROMs. And you get cloud saves, so you could be playing like on the plane where you've got no internet, so that's worth mentioning all on its own. So we have a lot of the benefits of being a cloud service where we've got accounts and subscriptions, we've got star ratings and save states, and if you subscribe, then the save states persist across all your devices. So you could be like playing a game on your phone, and you get home, and then you pick it up where you left off on the TV. Yeah.
Okay. And so, like you said, on the plane, you only need internet access to download and access the cloud aspect, right? You can play the games offline.
So once you've played a game at all, then from then forward you can play it offline.
On that device.
On that device. So basically it caches the games as you play them on a particular device. Or you can like front load it all, but generally that's how it works.
And you've mentioned systems from the 70s through the 90s. Is there a specific list or certain ones you might want to point out?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're at Portland Retro, which is like super Atari focused. So basically, Atari is very heavily represented. We have games for 2600, 5200, 7800, Lynx, and Atari 8-bit. Which actually that was kind of, so my own personal first love console was the Atari 2600. I mean, I actually had systems before that, but it was such a game changer when, pun I guess intended, that you could actually like change the games, because before that all the games were like baked in, or like the Magnavox, like that was cheating. There wasn't code on those cartridges. So like that was a big moment in console gaming. And then from there I went to the Atari 400 and 800 home computers.
Okay.
So that was like, it wasn't one of the first systems we had, but we added it last year. So I'd say that's not very common that you would see, Lynx and Atari 8-bit and whatnot on a service.
Yeah.
Then we've done Vectrex, and we've done some really awesome stuff with Vectrex. We algorithmically color the games, so you can play Vectrex games in color.
Okay.
And then and I guess diverging a little bit, underneath the hood, this is like emulation technology, but it's with like a Spotify, Netflix style user interface on top of it. So you're not hunting for any games, you're not fiddling with little, nerd knobs for settings or looking for firmware. So it's just basically you install it and you can get going.
Yeah. Which I actually noticed when I installed it on my phone. And granted, this is not the place I necessarily want to do my retro gaming, but Bluetooth with a controller on the television with a Fire Stick or something would be amazing. But I was playing a game within 10 seconds, 15 seconds of logging in.
That was the goal.
And that was without even a subscription. So that was really cool. And I'm looking forward to checking out more about this. And once, I kind of get that subscription thing going and I start uploading my ROMs and trying some things, I'll absolutely be making a video and tell you more about it. But thank you very much. This is really cool and I'm looking forward to try it out.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
So that was really cool, and actually, while playing around, oh, there's Pat Contry taking a selfie with his banner. And while playing around afterwards with Argon, just without a subscription or anything, I was shocked at how much homebrew was actually on that, just stock to play. So really looking forward to making that video. We had, I believe that was Magic cards there and some other stuff. So it's not all video games, it's mostly, but here's the star of the show, Champ Games. Let's have a talk with John.
All right, so I'm here with John Champeau of Champ Games, master of the Atari 2600, especially graphics. But he's self-publishing now, and he's got a bunch of games here at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, but 2 of them are new. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, great. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us here. So yeah, this is our first time having a booth, and we're self-publishing as you described. So we've released 2 new games this year. Here are our old ones, but our new ones are, we got Turbo Arcade, which is our 3D racing game, and the other one is Elevator Agent, which is a port of Elevator Action. So those are the 2 big games this year.
Cool, and obviously that's a port of the arcade game. I was terrible at the arcade game, yeah, but I'm actually really looking forward to trying both of these. I'm buying both of them from him. You're going to see reviews on my channel eventually, but I really appreciate meeting you, and I'm glad that you're self-publishing now. I know there was some worry that some of these games would go away, but
yeah,
we're glad that they're not.
Yeah, absolutely. And in July, when Atari made their decision where they're moving on to focusing on different parts, we decided at that point either we close up shop or we take on the task of self-publishing. So it was quite a few months, but we decided that this is probably the best way to go, and the outpouring of support from the community has been amazing. So.
Oh, for sure, and they look and feel fantastic.
Yeah,
so.
Great, thanks. Yeah, we tried to definitely, Atari, the quality of what they had was always really top notch. So we, even Al at Atari Age helped us. Picking out some of this stuff, and helped us through the process of becoming publishers. So it all worked out pretty well. So I'm hoping people will appreciate what we've done here. So
great, thanks a lot.
Great, thanks. We appreciate it. Thanks everyone. Great.
And obviously they had some games to play here, and as you can see, you can play with the driving controller, and that is, I just love when people use the paddle style controllers. This was when they were setting up their booth, so there's some more there. Video Game Wizards, I had a chat with these guys as well. Just personally, not on camera. Obviously, really big booth with girders and everything. And you got an ATM there. Walking down and just soaking it all in. So many video games. And then, of course, here is the Atari Age booth. Now, this was, I would say, probably the largest booth in the entire building. They had a ton of new releases this show for a variety of systems. All Atari, of course. But they had a system set up for every new game with televisions. And, of course, they had the Atari 2600 Plus set up for people to play. I played a few of them, but man, I gotta tell you, it looks the part, it feels the part, the joystick feels fantastic, it feels original. And even though, people were complaining about the size, like these metal switches, they feel exactly like an original 2600 switch. I didn't notice any lag in the controls. I only shot footage of me playing with a joystick, but I did try the paddles, and they felt fantastic, like a nice, clean, new set of paddles. Here I'm playing Amoeba Jump, which I did pick up because I really, really liked it. This isn't one of their new titles, but it was there, and it was plugged into the 2600 Plus, so I gave it a go, and like I said, I really liked it. I cannot imagine any situation, compatibility aside, and in the future we'll be able to figure out what the compatibility is like on this. But here's me playing Berserk, also on a 2600 plus. But after just how it felt and how it played and how it looked, I cannot imagine me wanting to play Atari 2600 or 7800 on any system other than this one. It was that good. Obviously, you know, I'm a big Atari fan, but I think I've given enough reason for people to believe that I'm not just going to blow smoke about something. If something sucks, I'm going to say so. If something's great, I'm going to say so. And the 2600 plus, for look and feel, and at least you know, the gameplay of the games that they had available to play there was fantastic. So at least in that regard, I highly am anticipating the 2600 plus. And I will be doing a video when I get mine. I'm going to test all my Atari homebrews on it. I'll be able to tell you what the compatibility is like there. This was me just walking around looking at, they got new 5200 releases, and they have their first Intellivision release. A Calibeth or Aclabeth, however you want to pronounce it. I believe that one's actually programmed by NanoChess. This was a Jaguar work-in-progress game, and I filmed this, and you can't really see it great on the television here, but it was bright and colorful, and I loved the kind of the parallax scrolling background in this kind of Galaxian port or Galaxian style game. I really enjoyed it. It was a little difficult to play while holding my camera, but yeah, it looked really good. So as you can see, like, I just played it and enjoyed it. Moving down, we can see here on the table, this is kind of their sales table in the middle. They had Jaguar, they had 7800, they had 5200, and a ton of 2600 games. And you just went up and told them what titles you wanted, and they grabbed it from that big stack in the middle, and that was that. And for every purchase you got a cool Atari age bag, so I've got one of those for my groceries now. And over here you can see they even had like some of the official Atari releases. Now, I'm kind of on record as these are pricier than they should be. They're like collector's editions, I get that, but they were $100 each, which is $40 more than the homebrew, so I didn't pick any of those up. And here's the opcode table. I missed talking with him on camera, but he's a homebrew publisher, and next year they're releasing their first Intellivision games. And up till now they've done ColecoVision games, and I have purchased 2 of those for review, and they look fantastic. So now it's time to talk to a couple of my favorite YouTubers, Tim and AJ from My Drunk Sibling.
All right, I'm at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and guess who I found? Not one, but 2 My Drunk Siblings.
That's us!
That is us.
So if you guys
We're not drunk today, though.
That's what she says. I'm pretty sure her water bottles had a little something in it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. If you guys haven't heard of their channel, they have a great channel. I love it. I'm such a big fan. They play, they get all drunk, and then they play these old Atari games, Intellivision games, Tandy computer games, lots of vintage stuff. They don't always know, like if you're looking to know how to play the game, it's not that kind of show.
We don't know what we're doing.
And some of these games are really complicated too, so when you're a little inebriated, but it's so much fun. I would say that AJ is the exuberant newbie.
I'm the comic relief.
And the cool professional that knows everything is Tim.
I definitely know everything.
He's the nerd. He's the nerd.
So when did you guys start your channel?
Almost exactly 2 years ago. this month, in fact, in October. 2
Yeah,
years ago.
you recently celebrated 100 episodes.
That's correct.
And since you do an episode a week,
Yeah.
it's got to be right about.
Well, we kept going to happy hour together and coming back and playing video games. And AJ came up with the idea of recording it.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So your idea was a YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how did that form? Because when you guys started, you weren't on camera, but now you guys are on camera. Whose idea was to move to that?
Tim, he said the only way we're going to be successful is if we show our faces, and I was so adamant against it. We fought back and forth. There's probably 10 episodes with no video of us, and then he finally just made me say okay. He got me drunk, I think.
And you're a natural, and I must say, Tim, you were right.
Yes, YouTube loves faces. I learned that from a 3D printing channel.
Even ugly faces like mine and Tim.
Neither face is ugly. Tim is allegedly not a vampire.
No, I am not a vampire.
I have a distant relative who is.
Okay, we need to hear about that.
Oh, her name is Antoinette, and she's a vampire from long, long ago heritage. We don't even know. We can't trace it back. But she's going to make an appearance on the next Drunkology.
Excellent. And when is that scheduled to air?
Tuesday before. Well, Halloween's on a Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that.
Okay, a week before Halloween, you're going to see the vampire distant relative from unknown European-ish origin.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that'll be on a Drunkology episode. You guys just did, for October, you guys have been doing movie-themed games. Yesterday was October Friday the 13th, and you guys did not play Friday the 13th for the NES. Why was that?
It's very hard.
We were way too drunk by the time we put that game on, and we're like, I don't know how to play this game.
Couldn't figure it out.
In fairness, it's not an easy game to figure out, and even sober, a lot of people have issues with it, so I don't think we can blame them for that. They also struggled with Predator, but it's, again, even if they don't know how to play the game and they can't figure it out, it is so much fun. I hope you guys go check out the channel. I'm going to link it in the description below. But I love these guys. I'm so glad to spend some time with them this weekend. Believe it or not, when I talked to AJ earlier, when I first saw her, she's like, I don't know if I'm going to stay the whole day. I'm a little bored. I'm like, well, there's all these free arcades and play. She's like, oh, I haven't done that yet.
And so there's a couple people we're gonna have some challenges.
We're going to have some challenges. I'm going to be a part of at least a few of them. I think we should get all three of us playing Fubar. That would be a really good one to play. And AJ, you owe me a game of Mario Kart.
Absolutely.
So we're going to play some Mario Kart.
We might even try Donkey Kong Jr. I'm in country.
Donkey Kong Country, we might try some of that. Now, I've been kind of trash talking at how they weren't very good at Donkey Kong Country. I haven't played that game in years and years, so I hope I don't embarrass myself.
Practice, so it's on.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Any final words for the show?
It's amazing you use that reference properly.
Thank you for interviewing us and featuring us on your show today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, anytime. I love these guys.
We love this guy. He's awesome. And if you want to learn about a game, you probably already know this. He's your guy.
And if you want to actually get entertainment watching gameplay, you watch these guys.
That's us.
All right.
And we did get to play some Super Mario Kart, which admittedly is not AJ's game. She did not do very well with Super Mario Kart. But then we played Donkey Kong Country 2. And I gotta tell you, I was pretty impressed. She played way better than she did in the My Drunk Sibling episode. Obviously, she was sober here, so that probably helped quite a bit. But she beat the first couple levels without even dying once, so that was great. Here we have the Guinness World Record holder for the largest working controller in the world, and there's John Riggs and Adam kind of talking there. Now let's take a look at the arcade. Now I shot this one, I believe, on Thursday. Again, they were getting everything set up, but this way I was able to kind of go around and take a look at everything without having to kind of peek around people. And you could just see the variety. There was tons and tons of pinball. I love James Bond. My dad also loves James Bond, and I actually really love this cabinet. I also am a big fan of Jurassic Park, so we take an extra peek at that. But yeah, just the variety of pinball machines, from modern machines to older machines. We had some machines from like some really old machines there. And there's me taking a look at, again, the same Bond pinball. And they had multiple of each. Well, not for every cabinet, but definitely the new ones. I think there was 3 different Bond cabinets. As you saw, there was a few Venom cabinets. Moving along here, you can see here's some more older ones. And being a Canadian, of course, I had to go check out the ice hockey one a little closer. The Black Knight, that's a great series of pinball machines. And Foo Fighters, another Jurassic Park. Moving around here, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Just lots of variety. Here's Bride of Pinbot. I really like that machine too. You gotta get the ball up in the top there, and that will rotate, and she'll turn from a robot into more of a person. Guns N' Roses. Just anything you'd want to play. Now here's my favorite Black Knight pinball machine. Black Knight 2000. This thing sings to you, literally. I had a lot of fun playing with that. Got the Playboy machine. I believe that one is from the 1970s. I could be mistaken, but I believe that's a 70s cabinet. And then here's some of the really old ones. I find them not to be nearly as fun. Obviously, they're not as exciting, but they were pretty cool. I mean, just kind of seeing the origins of it. And then, of course, the Super Mario Brothers pinball. That's a more modern one. But it's lots of fun to play. I like me some pinball. And down yet another row of pinball. Yes, we've got Bond again. Transformers, Ghostbusters, Shrek, AC/DC. This Ghostbusters cabinet's really cool. I've played it before a few times. I did get a chance to play just about all of these. Didn't spend nearly as much time in the arcade area as I did last year. I was kind of doing a lot of other stuff, but was still so cool to see. And I did get a good amount of playing in. So here we got some arcade machines, lots from the 90s, lots from the 80s, including a few more modern ones, but mostly 80s and 90s arcade games here. Space Invaders, that's one of my big ones. Gorf, I did a double review on that. Super Mario Brothers. I've always loved these racing games. California Speed and Hydro Thunder, great games. And over here on the stage, that's Rex Viper. You can see the angry video game nerd there in the background. They were rehearsing for their show. Obviously, I didn't film them too much or bug them, but kept walking around the arcades. We had Centipede. Oh, here's a Pong for 2 to 4 players. Yar's Revenge on a cabinet. Berserk, love Berserk. Tetris. Battlezone. I love this cabinet. You got the little radar bit at the top and the screen for your kind of cockpit. Frogger, I played a lot of Frogger. I'm pretty good at Frogger. I like it a lot. You got Marble Madness, Rampage, Donkey Kong, Tekken, Karate Champ, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Of course, that's not Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, it's just Punch-Out. I'm not good at any of the Punch-Out games, so I did not play that, but I did play a good amount of Dragon's Lair, and you know, that's an iconic cabinet right there. And then of course you got the play choice cabinet. Return of the Jedi. So I've played the Star Wars, I played the Empire Strikes Back. This was the first time I had actually seen a cabinet for Return of the Jedi. I had played the arcade in MAME, but that was really cool to see and play. Got the NFL Blitz, you got Turtles. Of course, any 90s arcade has to have Turtles in it. Oh, on the right here you got Bubble Bobble. I like Bubble Bobble, although it's got popcorn there. Gyrus, Pac-Man, Gorilla, Hang On. All these great cabinets. I remember a lot of them from when I was a kid, and of course there's a bunch of new ones as well. These Neo Geo cabinets were really popular. Lazarian, I had never even heard of that one before. Gotta have X-Men. Then you've got Tutankhamun. This was really cool. Crackshot. So this is like a pre-video video game. And that's I do play it a little bit later on camera. And this type of thing, like just the history of it, was really cool. I saw a lot of arcades like that at the Strong Museum, if you watch that video. There's Empire Strikes Back, Robotron, Quantum, Star Castle. Just so many arcade games to play. Never a dull moment. And yeah, just lots and lots. Not everything was turned on. Street Fighter 2, I lost many a quarter back in the day to Street Fighter 2. But yeah, since they're setting up, they weren't all on, but a good portion of them were on. And then walking over this way, trying not to disturb our rehearsing friends behind me. You've got the Tetris area. So the Tetris World Championship is held at Portland here, and this is kind of all the qualifying areas, and then in the big screens in the back, that's where the big games take place and the finals. And obviously this is all broadcast, I guess on Twitch, maybe YouTube as well, but it was really cool to have them back there. This is another play area. On Friday, only this arcade section is open, so they had a gameplay area here as well. Last year it was all here, but this year it was also in the exhibitor room, so they needed kind of a double area. Walking up here, we've got yet more arcades. I think they really outdid themselves. They had tons and tons of arcades here, in all different styles. Like there's Gorf in a different style cabinet. You got Mario Brothers there, Space Encounters, Mappy, lots and lots of cool stuff. Of course, you have to have Mortal Kombat. And then, of course, some modern arcades. Now, this is after the doors had opened. I believe this was on the Saturday that I came here. They've got a live DJ playing, but this is now with the mood lighting. You got the dark lights. With the DJ playing, and he's playing 80s and 90s music. It sucks you back when you're sitting and playing these arcade games, and you just kind of zone out, and you've got the music playing and the atmosphere. It just throws you right back to that time in your life when you were playing in dingy arcades in the 80s and 90s, and that was really cool. So, of course, Tetris World Championships now going on. Coming around here. I did do my walkthrough when the arcade wasn't quite as busy, but as you can see, like, even if you came over and somebody was playing on the cabinet that you wanted to play, there was stuff to play. Live DJ, first time I've ever seen somebody kind of rock on to Chip and Dale, but that was awesome. Kind of just absorbing the sounds. Of course, these were all set to free play, so you could just play all weekend if you want. It'd be a pretty good deal. Even if you weren't buying anything, just come and play arcade, play pinball, soak in the atmosphere, and enjoy your time at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Now, I did take an opportunity to actually play. You can see that the way this kind of works is it's got projected ships on the screen, and eventually here, even though I'm trying to play through the camera, I do shoot one, and you can see like the projection just kind of turns into an explosion. Lining up a shot, and oh, I missed that one. Missed that one too. Got one. There you go. So it's really cool. I'd like to know how they kind of do this, because this is all mechanical and projection. This isn't a video screen. So that was really cool. And then I tell you, I watched some of this and it's mesmerizing. You would not think that Tetris would be as entertaining to watch as it is, but just these guys, the speed that they play is absolutely incredible. Really fun to watch. But and the crowd really gets into it too. Like this guy on the left, I believe he was the runner-up last year. I think he goes by the name of Fractal. Oh yes, it says right at the end there, Fractal. I don't know if this was the finals or not. I think it may have been the finals. But I do not know who won. I ended up leaving a little bit before this finished up. But Fractal won this round, and the crowd went wild, and the crowd was cheering him. And it is really entertaining to watch. You wouldn't think so, but it is.
Dog's gonna have to get bored. 2 Tetris isn't enough. Dog's gonna need more than that.
One line away from super kill screen.
Dog is gonna have to get some kind of burn lines. Oh no, there's a super kill screen! Dog can't do it!
There it is. Super kill screen.
You know, a lot of this is what we saw from last year from Fractal. His play at kill screen speed is just so strong.
And that was my weekend at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I had a fantastic time. I got to hang out with a lot of really cool people, got to talk to lots of folks, and of course buy lots of stuff. But it's really an event that I really enjoy. Unfortunately, next year, I know I mentioned in one of the interviews that I'm going to go every year, but next year it looks like they may have moved the dates, and that middle date is my son's birthday, and I don't think I can be on the opposite side of the continent for that. So this next year, I'm going to figure out, maybe I'll go to Korg's, maybe I go to Too Many Games. We'll see. But Portland might not be in the cards for me next year, but as soon as they put it back to a date that's not interfering with big family events, I will go again. So I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't really get to get footage of everything. They had a video game museum there. Obviously they had talks, but hopefully I gave you a good overview of what it is. If you ever get the chance to go, you absolutely should. It's a fantastic event. The guys who run it should be super duper proud. Biggest in the country as far as I know. So yeah, absolutely. I loved it. Loved it. So that was my weekend. Next week we're back to regular programming, and we're going to have another review for a homebrew game. I don't know which one that is yet, but I'm going to figure that out, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.